Hey guys, it's Brett here from BWCflies. Today I'm just going to do a quick tying video on the Turneffe crab. This little fly pattern here, it's one of my little go-to brim flies that I've fished for a number of years. Very easy fly to tie. We'll have a bit of a materials list up at the end of the video so you know what I'm using. So hook's loaded into the vise. This one's a Gamakatsu SL113H in the size 6. Size 8 is another good option. My bobbin is loaded with Flymaster 210 denier thread in the tan colour. So I'm just going to lay a nice base of thread along this hook shank. A few layers there. We want this fly nice and strong. Good foundation is a good place to start. Okay, we're going to attach our dumbbells. For this particular fly, I use the Ballzeyes from Hareline. They're nice and wide, and when this fly sinks, it sinks nice and level. So they come in a few different colours, but for the demo, I'm just going to use the silver with the chartreuse eye. We're going to set that a little way back from the hook eye. So there's a couple of little securing wraps there, just to hold it in place. A couple on each side. Then we're just going to wrap underneath the dumbbell bar and above the hook shank, just to compress those thread wraps in. A little bit of super glue helps to bond that on nice and tight. A little dam up behind there. Alrighty, it's time to put the body on. So we use Hareline Furry Foam. We're going to use it in tan today. I'm going to cut a little strip off, around about 10 mils, or so wide. Just cut him off and set him aside. So you have like a little strip like so. Then for the tie-in, I trim it down on a triangle sort of shape. Just shorten that little point up a bit. Then I can seat that behind the dumbbell eye and capture it with the thread, and then bind it down as I go. And I want to finish the body just underneath of that barb. Okay. Make sure that it's not twisted up there. So when we're going to pull this forward eventually, you want to make sure that it's nice and symmetrical at the rear. So just give that a little bit of a play and move it aside. All right. You can build up a little bit more thread body just to make it nice and even. We're going to give that a little lick of UV resin in a moment, just to help make the fly a little bit more durable. All right. Okay. All right. Just building up the foundation of thread there. The next step is to add in some rubber legs, which are going to go straight across the back of the dumbbells. And for those, I use the Rainey's round rubber legs in the natural barred version. There's the medium-sized dumbbell. So I cut medium-sized rubber leg, sorry. So I cut 2 of those off, and then I'm going to fold them in half, which gives me my leg set. Give that a little clip. Now what I'm going to do is lay them flat across just behind the dumbbell eye, almost on top, probably about halfway back. So two little securing wraps there without pulling down too tight. 2 more over that side. And what I'm doing there, I'm trying to keep those rubber legs in a row so they just don't bunch up. And without having your threads too tight, you can then just massage them and position them adjust the length until you're happy. We're going to trim those anyway, but we want them laying straight across. And if I just turn that around, you may be able to pick that up, that they're just right on top of the dumbbells there, pretty much running straight across the fly. Once you're happy with your positioning of those legs, a few more securing wraps will just help lock them into place. Not an excessive amount of thread tension here either, just enough. Just enough so they don't sort of pop and flare badly. Alrighty, it's time to pull the body forward. And you may notice that we have given ourselves plenty of room behind the hook eye to the dumbbell there, because we need to pull this body across, and then part of the fly is to put in a little stacked clump of deer hair. So you need a little bit of space there to be working with. Alright, so make sure that's nice and straight. Just hold those legs out of the way. Bit of a loose turn and then tighten down on the furry foam. Make sure your legs are still in position. Okay, once you're happy with that body shape, just lock those threads down. Okay. Now at this point, I'm actually going to put a bead of UV resin along these threads here because they're exposed. You just want to strengthen them up or toughen them up, make them a little bit more durable. So this is just a light coating of Solarez Bone Dry Flex. Now I do like just to touch the back of the furry foam, just help bond it. We're just going to set that like so. Now if you wanted to be a little bit more creative, you could perhaps use a different color thread or something like that. Maybe a flat body braid if you want a little bit of sparkle and glitter under there. I don't really find that it's necessary. I kind of like what that chartreuse eye does on this particular pattern anyway. So all right, so we're happy with that. A couple of wraps underneath that front section of furry foam. We're going to clip that down and we're going to clip the legs. The next part is to stack a little clump of body hair, or I've got a pretty rough patch of light elk that I'm using currently, but short natural body hair, deer body hair is quite okay to use. Just jam that little clump in the stack. Just going to even up all the tips just so it makes a nice symmetrical type fly. So there's the tips all evened up. A handy little tool is the hair stacker. Just get rid of any little rogue ones out of there from the tips and from the butts. And we're going to pop this on in the middle of that body. We just want to make sure that the tips are covering the point of the hook. Then you know that you've kind of got your length right. Just a bit of a securing wrap. Thumb and forefinger holds the tips in place, and then we're just going to squeeze down or pull tension down on that little front clump of hair. They're going to flare just a little bit, which is what you want at the back. Okay. We need to advance the thread to in front of the furry foam. Build up a little head or a little bullet-shaped head, just so it helps pop that little bit of furry foam up, and we're going to whip finish it. All right, so I'll hand whip finish, but if you've got a whip finishing tool, then this is the time to employ that. So 1 and then 2, like so, and we can get rid of the thread out of the process now, like so. pull him back forward. We'll trim our legs at the end. Now, before I start playing around with that clipping process, I do just add a little bit more resin just to hold the furry foam in place, and then cover up those whip finishes that I've just done. Okay, so that's that. Alrighty, time to do a little bit of trimming. So the first bit that I do is I knock off this furry foam. So it's just a little bit longer than the hook eye. Just like so. Give it a little rounded shape on the front. Not too big. Then the next part is to separate the tips from the butts. Just pull them forward. Then a nice clean cut straight across. Gets rid of those. There may be a couple of little stragglers there that we want to get rid of as well. And then from there, you can just trim it to the size that you want. Just knock a few little angles off that little head there from the foam. We're pretty much done. You can move the little tips around, and then the next part is to clip the legs. We'll just pop that back in the vise. And a nice straight cut. Around about the same length as the body, that way, should be one side of your leg running that way. Alright, clip them off, flare them out. Again, if you wanted to be a little bit more creative, you could get out a red marker and put a few little red tips on the ends. I'm sure that's how the original fly was tied. For the brim, I just leave it as these barred legs. That's enough, but I'll leave the rest of it up to you really. That's the fly done. Very simple, very effective little fly. That's the Turneffe crab. You can see under the bottom, it's protected by a little bit of resin. Got some little rubber legs out on the side that twitch on the port, twitch on the retrieve, and nice soft kind of shell. So when the brim bite down, it's not obstructed. And then that little hair wing just helps give it a bit of profile, and helps it on its descent flutter as well. Anyway, that's a Turneffe crab. Thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. Take care.